Hey, hey. Listen, have you ever, listen, you're just sitting and have a burning feeling in you like, I could do this. I could do podcasting, but after you get past that first episode, you start to lose a little bit of, wait, I can do this. And then you get to the next episode, and there's a little bit more loss of, wait, I can do this. I want to help you with that. I want to help you to keep the momentum, to keep your trajectory of going and being consistent with putting out your episodes. Listen, I am Marion and I am a podcast pro. That's right, pro. P is for purposeful. When you choose to do your podcast, there is a purpose that you have burning in your heart and mind. And that is the reason why you show up and do it. Are resilient when those things that people call obstacles and challenges, listen, you call those opportunities to, show up as your outstanding self. That's exactly what being a podcast pro is. So if I were you, I would say I am a podcast pro. That's right. Take it personal. Listen, but in this episode, I got a question. Tell me what you think about. This episode is about the power of being a great questionnaire, because that is the ingredient that you need to stop that little voice in the back of your head from going, I thought I had this. I thought I could do this. I thought I could show up as many times as I said I would show up in a week, in a day on Instagram, in a week on your podcast platform, or each month, whatever that duration of time or that appointed time that you have determined, you want to be able to show up at that time confidently, competently, and with great comfort in knowing, listen, I know what I'm doing. There's one key ingredient that we're going to discuss, because you have to be a great questionnaire. That is the key ingredient. The key ingredient to being an amazing podcaster or being an amazing guest is questions. Either way, it's questions. Because as a guest, you prepare to answer those questions. You already know who you are, what you do, why you do what you do, who you do that thing for. And because you already know these things within you, you should sit down, write the questions down, and literally answer them so that when you show up, you're prepared. Now, as a host, to be a great questionnaire, you actually have to be a questionnaire. You have to ponder what's going on and what you're going to do in response to it, if you're going to do anything at all. That's as a host and as a guest. You literally need to ponder, what is the question at hand? What is the topic at hand? So you can formulate what you're going to articulate as the representation of you. That's why it's important to be a great questionnaire. Even though as a guest, you're answering questions, at the same time, you're asking yourself questions on the inside. It's kind of, it's subconscious. Subconsciously, you're asking yourself more questions, and it's all sparked by what the host is asking. But you ponder What is the topic at hand? What is the question at hand? How do I want to represent myself? Even as the host asking the question, you have to ask yourself and then make sure you're showing up to invite your guests to share. The next thing under being a great questionnaire is you want to communicate better. That's what being a great questionnaire does. It causes you to communicate better. Why? Because the first person you ask questions of, whether being a host or a guest, is yourself. When you bring someone on your platform, you're already going through your database, your mind, formulating the conversation, formulating what it is you want to be put on display on your platform. And as a guest, you're already asking yourself questions, formulating how you want to represent yourself. So that's why being a great questionnaire causes you to be an even better communicator. Being a great questionnaire causes you to create environments where people are comfortable enough with you to divulge things they may not have thought about in years. To have revelations in front of you, in that safety of conversating with you. To have revelations about the ways that they have done things for years. But because of the way you have structured the question, it's causing them to actually question their own way of doing things that they have been doing time and time again in their life. That's what being a great questionnaire pulls from you and pulls from your guests. Being a great questionnaire causes you to learn through your willingness to admit that you don't know everything. I am always eager to say, hey, yeah, I don't know that. But I'm not saying it to say I don't know it. I'm saying it to open the door. Show me, teach me, talk to me, share with me, help me to have a better understanding. And when it's done on your platform, that allows your community to have a better understanding. When as a guest, as you come to someone else's platform, you're exposing yourself to their community and you've announced that you'd be there. So your community is coming and learning even more about you. That's what it takes. That's what comes from being a great questionnaire. The characteristics of a great questionnaire, the first thing, you got to be curious. It's key to asking questions. The reason why you're asking the questions is because you're curious about the answer. So you don't want to be sarcastic. You don't want to do it in a narcissistic way. You want to make sure that you're opening the door of curiosity so that someone feels comfortable to come through it and share. That second characteristic is you have to be humble. You want to humble yourself when you're operating in the being of being a great questionnaire. You want to humble yourself because you may know the answer, or guess what? You might think you know the answer. So there are two ways you can do this. You can humble yourself and innocently go forth and ask the question. Or you can humble yourself and ask the question, posing it from this perspective. This is what I think. I thought, or I think, or I do, or I believe this, this, and this. How would you shed light on that with your understanding of this topic? I'm just doing it very general because we're not specifically speaking with anyone about a specific topic. So that's why I'm doing it generally. But it's very important that you humble yourself. In humbling yourself, you allow your guests to step into the spotlight, to share the value that they bring, to share their life experiences, to allow the community to get to know the value that you've brought to your podcast. Don't get me wrong. Did you hear that the example I gave? You still share. You still share. Your community still gets to know you better and better and better with each episode, with each interaction. They still get to know you better. But it's not your time to shine. I hope this is making sense to you. It's not your time to shine. So you want to make sure you're asking questions that yield the wisdom from your guests, that yield the victories from your guests. Listen, that yield the trials and tribulations from your guests. Because if they're sitting there, they figured out something. No one's story is exactly the same. So even though they may be speaking on something and you're like, oh my goodness, that happened to me. Don't waste time going back and telling your mirror story of what they're speaking on. Use that time just to say, you know what, that happened to me. And then brush right to the next thing to peel back another layer on what they're talking about. Their story. All right. So another characteristic is a willingness to be vulnerable. Now that's another component of you humbling yourself to say, listen, this is what I thought. I'm listening to what you're saying, but it doesn't seem to match my thinking of this. So let me ask this. Let me tell you this is what I think, and this is the question that I have. Maybe you can give me some clarity on it. You never know. What you say may give them some clarity on what they're saying. Maybe it's something a perspective they've never ever heard or experienced for themselves. From that point of view, from your point of view. See, that's something new being brought to the conversation, but it's done in your willingness to be vulnerable, your willingness to be seen as the example in their sharing of their value. Your willingness to go, I'm not saying this derogatory, so your willingness to be the test dummy, to be the example to your community for your guests to work through that issue. Guess what you get? You get the person actually doing a play-by-play of how to resolve whatever that issue is you may have brought up. One. So you're allowing them to shine and do that thing that they do so well by you being the example that you're going to use, that they can use, because you've shared something intimate that they're now working through and helping you walk through. Two, your audience gets a better, deeper understanding of the value of who you've brought to your platform. It makes a difference who you have brought before them. The authority that you're saying, listen, I have this person here. When people see that you're bringing someone on, they believe you're bringing them on because you believe this person has value. So now let's see what value that is. Because your community will grow to trust you. So then they'll grow to trust that you're choosing prime people to bring, to speak into their lives, into their business, into their finances, into their relationships, into their family, into their legacy, into their future, into their dreams, over their past, over their hurts, over their traumas. That's what you want to make sure you're doing. That's why you must be a great questionnaire. That third level is, I just shared with this person that I believe to be an authority. This person I believe has experience to share. But I gave them my issue. I gave them my concern. And now they're going to sit here and give me a blueprint on how to handle it. So not only do they get to share what their value, the community gets to see them actually operate in their value and maybe share and connect with what they work through in your life as a host, because you shared your own personal story. And then as a host, you get the remedy to your situation. Listen, it's a win-win-win for everyone being a great questionnaire. Listen, the last thing is you got to be a forever student. You want to always ask questions with the understanding no question is dumb. I'm not going to say but. No question is dumb, but you want questions that are revolutionary. You don't want to keep asking the same thing of them over and over again. You want to be unique with what you do. That is what's the characteristics. Those are the characteristics of a great questionnaire. Okay, so what a great questionnaire does. A great questionnaire asks questions that can prove that they are wrong. Can't be afraid to ask questions that after you ask the question, in your mind, you're going, wow, that's not how I saw that. And then think how amazing that would be to share that honesty and go, you just said that and I never thought of it that way, to your guest. You just said that and I've always thought of it this way, but now that you've shared that, this is the transformation in my thinking that you've yielded. That's the type of great questionnaire you want to be. What a great questionnaire does is ask questions you can't answer. So if you're sitting there and you're only asking questions you know the answer to, that's not going to take you to the next level. It's not going to motivate you to want to go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I asked that question. I don't even know where that question came from because I never ever thought of that. You have to be free and open to have the conversation. I'm not saying agree with everything everybody says. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is be free and open to have the conversation. It's just that simple. Be open to investigating others' points of view, their life experience. That's what you need to be open to do. Be open to investigate others' points of view and their life experience. All of it. The highs, the lows, the middles, the unknown to them. I have asked questions and literally watched people, my guests, have an epiphany right before me. Never having thought of their own lived situation in the way that the way that I crafted the question caused them to have to think, question themselves, and respond. It's amazing. Being a great questionnaire is absolutely amazing that you get to bring that light to the revelation that someone has right before you. It's an amazing feeling to be able to ask someone something where they literally have to walk step by step to even understand that what they thought about it may not have been right. But you also have to be willing to admit, when I thought about it, may not have been right. 4, why be a great questionnaire? Listen, you got a podcast? Why do you want to be a great questionnaire? Easy, easy, easy. Pardon me. Easy. Why do you want to be a great questionnaire? Because you want your guests to return. You want them to keep wanting to come back and share, because people grow in their lives. People go to next levels. You want them to keep coming back and sharing what they have going on, the books that they have coming out, the new series that they may have coming out on their platforms, the classes that they're teaching, the master classes, the events, the conferences. You want them to keep coming back and investing in your community. You want them to keep coming back. But then on top of that, you want the people that they know to go, hey, I saw your interview. I'm talking about myself with old girl. You seem like that was an amazing experience. Expound on that. You want people out there asking about you. Going to your guests, hey, was that, like, I saw her. Did y'all plan? How did that really work? You want people to actually go places and go, well, the best podcaster or one of the greatest hosts that I've ever, or one of the best questions I've ever been asked in my life. That's the impact that you want to have on your guests. Now, what most people say is that's having receipts. You want to make sure that you leave people wanting to speak with you more. And then it triggers other people calling to speak with you. Because they see the impact that you make in the guest's life. They see that you open the floor for them to shine. You allow them to stand in the light. That's what you want to do for your guests. Let me tell you what your guests remember. This is what people remember. Now, I'll say, as a guest, this is what the hosts remember. As a host, this is what the guests remember. For you both, this is what your communities remember. How you made them feel. We're back to vulnerability. vulnerability. I apologize. How you made them feel through sharing how you felt. Honestly, there are very few success stories that just start at the top, stay at the top, and never move. So that feeling of going back and revisiting the unsure times, the times when you said, you know what, I'm never going to be unsure again. I'm doing this. The times when you may have been the one going, I can't do this. And everybody else around you is going, what are you talking about? You're already doing it. Because it doesn't always have to be an external doubt and fear. There's external forces and internal forces. And you got to force yourself to be a great questionnaire. Why be a great questionnaire? Because of that feeling that you bring. Now, this feeling that you bring helps your guests to feel heard. That's why you have your platform. So they can feel heard from their point of view, from their perspective, from their angle of understanding. Everybody always says, listen, in a situation with two people, there's your side, their side, and then there's the truth. So this, in a sense, this is their side of their life experience. So they get to tell you, they feel heard because they get to say it in front of your community. Then they feel seen. They feel seen for who they believe that they are. They feel seen for who they live their life as. That's amazing. It's an amazing feeling to just feel seen, to be heard. An amazing feeling. That last thing, that last amazing feeling is to feel appreciated. To feel appreciated for the value that they bring. Now I'm reflecting on my own situations in being a guest on different podcasts, in going to speak at different events, in coaching people one-on-one and in groups, in hosting my podcast. There's an amazing feeling of appreciation as the host from the guests to be able to have that safe space to come and share. And then as a guest, it's amazing to be able to go somewhere, a safe space, and have someone really listen to you, see you, and be the great questionnaire to ask questions that make you ponder you right there live and in living color. Real time. Absolutely beautiful. The way you make someone. All right, to be a great questionnaire is amazing because through your strategically crafted questions, you lay the foundation for your guest to build a structure that people can learn and grow in, through, and because of, time and time again. Because these platforms like right now, YouTube, or whatever audio platform that it's on. It's somewhere that lives on and on and on. Back in the day, you had a show, that season finished, wrapped up, that was it. Maybe you'll get put in rotation years later. This, as I close this show, I want you to know that you can rewind and hit play. You can rewind and hit play. You can rewind and hit play. You can send this link to someone else. You can share how to be a great questionnaire. Dare I say, not just in podcasting, but in life. Being a great questionnaire gives you the power to grow, the power to learn, the power to understand, the power to be better and better and better with each question. As long as you have no fear with sitting in the room or sitting in front of someone or sitting in front of a group and admitting, I don't know that, but what is this? What is that? How do you do this? When do you do that? And just going through it freely, not blocking your mind with the fear of looking like an idiot. Because listen, you can look like an idiot for a moment and live a lifetime in wisdom. That's what I have. Be a great questionnaire. Please like, share, subscribe, follow. It's very, we would really appreciate if you subscribe so that this information can get before more eyes. Again, we keep getting flooded with emails and comments saying, yo, what you're talking about is life-changing, which is beyond the podcast host and guests. Praying that this information blesses you. See you next time.